Hello everyone, and welcome to another Best of Onesday. So last season, a lot of people asked me, hey, how would you build a Merfolk deck? And I said, I don't really think that's good enough yet because we just don't have the mana for it. But now we have Ravnica Allegiance, which importantly means we have Breeding Pool, so the mana is actually good enough for a 2-color aggro deck in these 2 colors. So my first instinct was to build it around the new Zagana, the 4-mana one that draws a card if you have a counter on a creature you control, because she's a big Merfolk, she cantrips, she's a sink for your mana in a deck that is sometimes liable to flood out, and she synergizes with a lot of what the Merfolk want to do, and I thought that would be good, but it just wasn't. The deck didn't do anything powerful enough, while also you have the liability of committing too much to the board and just getting swept up and dying. So instead I'm trying this version, which is a version based around Deeproot Waters. Essentially, instead of trying to get counters on all of our creatures, although we do that too, this deck is just trying to swarm the opponent and letting Kumena, Tyrant of Orazca, take over the game. It's possible that I'm supposed to be playing 4 of this card, but drawing multiples is pretty awkward, and we're also playing 4 Incubation to dig for them, so far 3 has been just fine for me. I think the core, if you're playing Merfolk, of cards that you just kind of have to play are Benthic Biomancer. This card is quite solid anyway, and it being a Merfolk is just great. Kumena's Speaker is a 2/2 for 1, doesn't get a lot better than that. Silvergill Adept is one of the best Merfolk ever printed, and that's not liable to change. Deeproot Elite is starting to where you get a little more optional because it synergizes more with this type of deck than the Counters deck, but obviously the Counters deck likes what this card's doing as well. Merfolk Mistbinder is just a 2-mana 2/2 that is a lord, it doesn't get much better than that. And then, obviously, Kumena is the best card in the deck, draws cards, makes your team giant, perfect card. So, the final changes that are things that I've added. Merfolk Trickster is another one of those, this card is good enough anyway, and then it being a Merfolk is a bonus cards. Turning off abilities is great, being able to hold up a flash threat when you have cards like Spell Pierce in your deck, also great. And 2/2 for 2 is just not the worst thing in the world when you have ways to buff up that body. 3 main deck Spell Pierce. This is partially just what the deck wants to be doing anyway, but is also a concession to the fact that I'm playing Best of 1. Popular decks in Best of 1 include the Temur whatever Nexus Turbo Fog deck, and being able to Spell Pierce a Wilderness Reclamation is often the difference between death and winning the game. And also, the Gates deck, being able to Spell Pierce a Gates Ablaze usually is enough to be the difference between losing and winning. Finally, for Incubation Incongruity. I haven't liked Incubation in general because it can't get lands, so this is basically just hoping that there's a creature in the top 5, and then it's like, you haven't really done that much. Except in this deck, there is a large difference between our different creatures. Like, if this was just a good stuff deck, then that's not a great effect. But since we have really high value targets like Kumena or value cards like Silvergill, being able to select from among 5 cards is really great. And then, luckily, this also lets us play Incongruity, which helps us answer problem creatures. Sometimes there's a Lyra Dawnbringer or a really big Wild Growth Walker or a Rekindling Phoenix or something like that. And being able to exile it is really what this deck needs. Otherwise, we'd just kind of lose to those types of cards. Finally, why am I playing this deck in Best of 1? And honestly, the answer is because that's the only place I was able to win. I tried to play it in Best of 3, and all the black decks were bringing in Cry of the Carnarium. It seemed like every deck I faced had Deafening Clarion, a set of them in the 75. It was just really hard. And so I've been playing it in Best of 1, and the results haven't been incredible, but they've been fine, and that's really what I'm looking for with this deck. So, without further ado, I'll go ahead and get into the games. Okay, first game with Merfolk. Yeah, this hand looks fine. Not incredible, but some 1-drops, a little card selection / removal, and the best card in our deck, so can't hope for a lot more. Hallowed Fountain untapped. Okay, so this is the blue-white aggro deck. I don't know what this matchup looks like. I kind of imagine we'd be favored as long as we don't get completely run over. Like, they don't have a ton of removal, and Kumena's just going to make our team giant, so they can't really attack anymore once we do that. I'm sure they will show me why I'm sorely mistaken before too long. Oh, they're playing red as well. Interesting. Yep. This is probably just for, like, heroic reinforcements or something like that. Ooh, Deeproot Elite. Okay, I was going to play Silvergill Adept, but if we can start getting this going, we can, even before Kumena's really ready to go, start getting our team really big. We're going to take some damage in the next few turns. It'll basically just be depending on whether or not we can get good blocks within a few turns. Oof, this has been basically their ideal curve. Pretty good draw. What are our best plays here? We could Biomancer and Silvergill Adept, distribute some counters. Then we're mostly looking to chump block, and that sucks a little bit. I think... Let's see. So the main thing that I'm worried about here is I think they are very likely to untap and play a Heroic Reinforcements, which those are 3 each, that's 6 damage. That would give them the City's Blessing, so 6, 10, 14, plus 6 more. They're attacking for 20. We would have to block at least 7, which involves a significant amount of chump blocking. So maybe we have to play around wanting to do that. Ugh. This is really bad. Initially, I wasn't interested in the chump blocking plan, but I think we're going to end up chump blocking anyway, so... that's a decent draw. I'll go ahead and discard the Biomancer. Okay, would have liked to draw a non-pain untapped land, but this will have to do. And I will put a counter on Silvergill. No tax. Basically, if they have land heroic reinforcements here, we're pretty dead, no matter what. But hopefully we'll be able to stay alive, and if we survive the turn, I think we're in decent shape. Can play Kumena, just start growing our team. Yep. Okay. Super double ideal aggro draw. Oh, and I don't even think I counted this as enough damage. Yep. Okay. We got obliterated. How linear aggro do? It's a pity we didn't win the die roll, I guess. We'll be back to try again. Second game with Merfolk. Hopefully be on the play and have a little bit faster draw this time. His hand is fine. 1-drop, Lord, Disruption in case they're regular deck. This would have been great last match if we could have spell pierced the heroic reinforcements. Might have been in that game. Breeding pool, okay. Sultai seems most likely. So here, I'm just going to go ahead and play the Mistbinder, start attacking. I could also have been like looking to activate the Biomancer, but you often want to wait on looting effects like this to get more information. Like, right now I have about as many lands as I want, and I have some creatures to play, so I don't really know what I'm looking for to loot into yet. So, here, I'm going to go ahead and Incubation. Get a Silvergill Adept, because that card is great. Second breeding pool is a little weird. Sultai probably still most likely, but I need to be looking out for like some sort of teamer control deck or something like that. I don't want to just lose the game if they have like the pirate Clasm. I can never remember its name. Fire Cannonade. So instead, I'm going to start committing to the board, but I'm going to make sure to leave Spell Pierce up here. Okay, teamer. Go ahead, snap off that cannonade. You know you want to. I'm still gonna spell pierce this. The life is annoying, and we kind of need to slow them down. Okay. Oh no, I played out all my Merfolk. Guard this. go ahead and discard Deeproot Waters, because that'll let us actually play our cards next turn. And we've already got enough bodies on the table, we don't need this. Okay, now we're insulated from Fiery Cannonade. Okay, they have an untapped land, they're going to 4. That is kind of dangerously low. Oh, actually, we're not insulated from Cannonade. I'm dumb. That would kill the Mistbinder, and then that would shrink these two down. Okay, I think we're going to start getting fogged. That's kind of whatever. They don't have a card advantage engine yet, so them burning fogs every turn is, like, not disaster for us. Oh. There's a way for me to set a stop right now. Huh. I'm, like, trying to... I would like to set a stop here. I hate that combat is over your player's portrait. This interface is so opaque. Like... Oh, it doesn't matter, though. They're dead anyway. But I really wanted to set a stop there so I could Merfolk Trickster this down and kill them, but... Anywho, I'm sure someone will let me know how I can set a stop in combat once they've done that. But yeah, 1-1. Let's keep on going. Alright, third match. Currently 1-1. We're really good at drawing Benthic Biomancers, which I'm pretty sure is a good thing. You put 1-drops in your deck to draw them, so. Alright. Mono red can be really rough. Goblin Chain Whirler is a big fat jerk. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and attack here. If they want to block, I will just adapt this and eat their creature. And here, I'm going to go for a somewhat cheeky play, which is on their upkeep. I'm going to play this Merfolk Trickster, and I'm going to shut down the Steamkin. So now, as they go about their business, this no longer gets counters. They can't remove counters to add mana. Should slow them way down. The reason I'm doing this is because they didn't have a 1-drop. I suspect that they are the mono-red Steamkin deck instead of just mono-red aggro, and that means you have to play really differently because this just kind of kills you all in one turn and they don't even really need to attack. That said, they played a Viashino Pyromancer, so I see that I am in fact wrong. So, I will instead be playing Kumena and passing the turn, and just look to take over the game. Sure, Viashino Pyromancer, that's fine. We're gonna take some damage here, but next turn we can play a Deeproot Waters and start kind of going off. So I'm faced with an interesting decision here. I don't really want to block like these cards because if they have a shock, I just get blown out. I think I'm just going to use my life total as a resource here. Take some damage, could take up to like 8 here, depending, but I think that's okay given that they aren't going to have good attacks again after this. Do they have double shock for my Kumena? The really irritating thing if they had... On the Benthic Biomancer, really? Okay. Okay. Spending a lot of burn to get rid of my creatures, that's fine. That is also fine. So I can go ahead and Deeproot Waters. I'm opting into taking some amount of damage again this turn, and I'm also taking damage off this, which is a little rough. But importantly, this puts me up to 3 Merfolk here, so I can block some amount and also draw a card off Kumena. And then once I untap with Deeproot Waters, they basically won't have good attacks again for the rest of the game. And I think, basically, if they attack with everyone, I'm going to look to trade with a Pyromancer and chump a Steamkin, then draw after declare blockers. I kind of lose the game to a Goblin Chain Whirler, but that's sort of always going to be the case. Doesn't really matter which one on which, but... Now I'm just trying to make sure I don't get burnt out. Because if the game goes long, I'm now enormously advantaged with Kumena going. Mistbinder, cool. Would love to draw a land here. See, what do they got? Nothing. Cool. So, I think I'm going to lead off on Silvergill, revealing another Silvergill. They're gonna double shock my Kumena here, maybe? No? I have to think they have like at least one burn spell. Cool, that is an excellent draw, exactly what we wanted. And now, because we drew the land, and I can set up 5 Merfolk without doing anything else, I'm actually just going to pass. Because now what I can do is, and also, or it just always gives me priority before their declare attackers, so I can look to start growing my Merfolk, which is great, and also Trickster can tap down the runaway Steamkin. Okay, they drew a few more lands than they probably wanted. That's good for us. Alright, Merfolk Trickster, you're up. Get another Merfolk. I almost wonder if they're just reading Kumena, because this card's really complicated. They keep mousing over it, but not actually being able to kill it. Okay, and now their attacks are bad. Like, Viashino Pyromancer just can't do anything on this board. It's a pity we don't have one more Merfolk, but now, because we're only at 8, we really do need to start applying pressure. We need to start hitting them, and luckily we have plenty of ability to do that. Okay. Let's reveal a Merfolk. I'll reveal this Mistbinder. Silvergill Adept is so damn good. This card is just unbelievable. Oh my gosh, that is a good draw. Going to name Merfolk. And then I'm going to play Mistbinder. Are they dead now? I'll have to count. If this resolves, now we can tap these summoning sick Merfolk to grow these out of an attack. So let's see, they block Kumena, take 5, 10, 15, a million. Okay. Man, we went from being on the defensive to having super double extra lethal really fast. They could make a lot of mana here, but I don't know that 5 and 8 are very different. And we've got 6 big blockers. Like, even if they somehow prevented lethal, I don't see us dying on the backswing. I guess I should have tapped the Mistbinders instead. They're more important to keep alive. Yeah, like this is... They had double Lightning Strike, so wow, they probably had those for a long time, and they were considering double striking Kumena. Yeah, okay. So we lost both our Mistbinders, which is unfortunate, and still had enough to kill them. This deck can produce a lot of power. Okay, 4th match, currently 2-1. Well, this hand can't cast Incubation, but any non-Unclaimed Territory land lets us, and the rest of the hand is excellent, so I am going to keep it. Note that, because we don't have an island, we do need to keep another Merfolk on the table to keep Kumena's speaker big. Like, if this resolves and they just kill all of our other Merfolk, we're not getting anywhere. Okay, oh. I have no idea what this matchup will look like. Like, we can aggro a lot harder than they can, and a lot of their disruption is pretty bad. Like, Spell Pierces and Dive Downs don't really do anything, but we're not good at interacting with them either, so they might just run us over. If they, like, Curious Obsession here, and then hold up a Wizard's Retort, and we never get these going. Yep. Curious Obsession. Fun fact, if you're playing mono blue, you actually only look at 6 cards in your opener every game, because then after you've chosen whether or not to keep your 6, that's when Wizards adds a Curious Obsession to your hand. It was really weird, I didn't know this, but then my opponents just had it every single game, and that seems to be the only real option. There's no other way this would happen. Playing Deeproot Elite here so we can start developing our board. One of the main ways I've been able to beat mono blue is just to aggro them out. Just stop trying to interact very hard and just apply pressure. I'm going to set a stop on their next upkeep. They cannot Spell Pierce Merfolk Trickster, and so unless they have Dive Down specifically, I can actually tap this creature, and that will prevent them from attacking, and they'll lose their Curious Obsession. And that's kind of what I wanted to do anyway, because I just kind of want a Breeding Pool tapped and play a 2-drop. I could apply more pressure with Mistbinder, but, is that still what I want to do? We can also, we might be able to get them to get a little hasty with their blocks here. Like, if they block our 1/1, I can Trickster and do the same thing. Alright, they did not block. We'll just settle for 3 damage here. And I'm actually going to use the island and cast Incubation. I guess I'm just going with another Kumena speaker here. This will be a cheap threat that we can get in later. Okay. This plays around Spell Pierce, but not Dive Down. They also don't have Wizards, so they can't cast Wizard's Retort yet. Basically, Dive Down is the only card that really makes this a poor decision. And even then, it's not that bad. Oh, and actually, they do play Essence Capture now. I forgot. I think I still make the same play, either way. Next turn, we can really start committing threats to the board and apply a lot of pressure. So even if they're attacking me for 4 here and drawing some cards, we're going to hit a lot harder as we go back to them. Yep, Essence Capture. Okay, they have their 3rd land. One advantage of doing, like, the Merfolk Trickster type of stuff is forcing them to actually tap their mana, because the card that is really, really bad for us that we don't want to see is, the Djinn. Okay, we can actually, now that we drew a land that doesn't hurt us, because again, I don't want to play Breeding Pool. Our life really matters here. We can attempt to run that last turn back. Basically, I'll try to Trickster this guy again. Go ahead and buff up this one. I could even just opt into taking 4 and look to tap a Djinn if they play it. I actually kind of like that. We're not winning on card advantage anyway, so just don't even fight on that access. If they try to attack and then block with a Djinn, we actually have lethal, because this will add, It'll add 2 power to the board, or 3 power to the board itself, and then also an extra counter. So we even have lethal through a blocker. So, like, even if they play Jhin, we play this, and they dive down, we still have a kill. This has been an interesting game. Like, it's been a little bit awkward, like, because of trying to play with stuff like this and drawing triple Unclaimed Territory. This hasn't been an ideal aggro draw, but forcing them to do something like Essence Capture slowed them down a little, and they don't have the fastest solitaire aggro clock in the first place. So I think we're pretty likely to win here. Worst case scenario is like, yep, sure, deal some damage. Like they just pass and they have double counterspell, because even if they don't cast anything, I'm gonna Merfolk Trickster to try and apply lethal. So yeah, like if they can put down a blocker and counter my Trickster, then I'm kind of in trouble, but... Okay. I suspect they have their own Trickster here. It's just what this looks like to me. Sure, tap that one. I'll make Mistbinder bigger. This is so that if they have a Trickster, they can't flash it in and block here, effectively. Alright, so I am going to go ahead and cast these pre-combat, because this lets me apply lethal even through a single Trickster. Because the thing about a Trickster is that it can tap down my Mistbinder, and then it loses its ability that is currently buffing up my other units. And so I want to make sure that I can get these all up to be 3/3s even through a blocker here. Tapping like this so I can go ahead and adapt that. Doesn't really make a difference this turn because I'll just be throwing away my breeding pool, but... we'll see what they have here. One Trickster can still let them survive because they can tap this and block and just take a little bit of damage. That doesn't let them kill us in the following turn though, and it still leaves a pretty substantial board. I don't kill through double Trickster here either. They let me attack though, so they might just not have it. Maybe they're gonna like blink of an eye something, but that's not really great either. Okay, they had a Trickster. I assume they'll... yep, shrink this. Yeah, waiting is just like a little odd here, because if they wait, I'm definitely going to attack with everyone, and that means there's a lot of damage coming across, like... okay, they did have double Trickster. It is unfortunate. Huh. 3, 9... I guess they had to do this way. I'm wondering if they should have, like, blocked here and tried to... I don't know, do something. Like, they could have tapped down my blockers and gotten in for some amount of damage. Like, these are the only 4 that are attacking, so if they tap down these 2 blockers, chumped 1, that's still not quite getting across for lethal, but... here they're not anywhere near lethal, and I have a bunch of lethal attackers coming across next turn. Yeah. That was an extremely close game, but we beat one of the best decks in the format, so that's pretty exciting. Alright. 5th match, this will probably be the last one. Currently 3-1, so that means we're positive either way. That's pretty cool. Sure, I guess. If we can draw a basic or a breeding pool, this hand's just kind of excellent. If not, we just harbor tapped and get started on 2. Uh-oh. No. Maybe a control deck? That's a little weird. I've seen this in, like, in some other decks. I don't know about with basic planes, though. Sacred Foundry tapped, okay. I'm going to name Merfolk, because those are the cards we play a lot of. Get Deeproot Elite down. Next turn we can Hinterland Harbor and start applying pressure with our 2-drops. And figuring out what exactly they are doing. Oh, Lava Coil, what a jerk. Okay, I'm going to get my island down. I'm going to Incubation. Mistbinder, sure. And I'll go ahead and pass. This is like one of the most powerful things this Merfolk deck can do. I can say, not today. They must be like a red-white Soul Sisters type thing. That's like what makes sense to me. I'm gonna go ahead and reveal this Mistbinder that they already know about. Okay, more lands. Again, I can leave up Tricksters. Unfortunately, don't have another Spell Pierce to continue stopping these, but I can always tap down their Knights and just hit them. Nothing. Okay, gotta be on the lookout for Settle the Wreckage here. No? Okay. They must be kind of flooded out. I hope that the Sweeper deck doesn't play Spot Removal and History of Benalia. A Deafening Clarion would mess us up pretty badly. Could play like a little more conservatively by only playing 1 and holding up Trickster, but I really just want to get them dead. Got a lot of life to work through. Yep. I summoned it. People really love to put these 2 cards in the same deck. I actually should have held on to the 6th land. We're not doing anything that costs 6 mana, ever. Yeah, this is like the worst thing that could possibly ever happen to us. Deafening Clarion into Lyra. We still have, like, I'm gonna go ahead and hold this so we can get another turn of fogging her. That draw sucked. Yeah, and we've still got 3 more copies of Incongruity, so we can get rid of her. Basically, we're doing exactly what this is designed to prey upon. Like, this matchup could not be worse. But, oh well. That's what you risk when you play best of 1. You don't get to sideboard. And for what it's worth, I think if we had looked to flash in of Trickster instead of... Oh my god. Sure. Instead of playing the Mistbinder, I think we were still pretty screwed. I guess I'll play this out. Just kind of going through the motions here. We're super dead. But, yeah, if we'd looked to flash this in instead of another one, like, we would have been up a Mistbinder. Okay, I'm good. That's enough for me. Alright, so... Red-White Angels, deck that people played a lot last season. Honestly, I think it's kind of god-awful now. You can't beat the Reclamation decks. You probably can't beat the Sultai decks. You definitely can't beat mono-blue decks. Maybe you can. Maybe you can block well enough. But, yeah. Would not recommend playing Red-White, unless you think your opponents are going to play Merfolk, and then you should. Anyway, that's it for today. I would love it if you could subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.